Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A very dear listener, in today's session we will talk about what is inflammation, what is the purpose of inflammation, and what is the causes of inflammation. So let's start from the beginning, that what is exact definition of inflammation. This is one of the most common pathological condition and sign which is seen in a clinical side or in the hospital side. So up to now the concept of inflammation is if there is redness, swelling, pain and hotness, so we call them this is inflammation. But this is the cardinal sign of inflammation. This is not what inflammation. The accurate and very easy definition of inflammation is, let's suppose due to any reason, any injury to the vascular tissue, either it may be physical force, it may be physical trauma, or it may be chemical, or it may be radiation, or it may be burn injury to the vascular tissue. The response of vascular tissue is called inflammation. So the easy definition of inflammation is what? Whenever you, due to any reason, due to any cause, whenever you injured the vascular tissue and the vascular tissue generate a response to eliminate these pores, these cause which damaging the vascular tissue, this response is called inflammation. So we can easily define what is inflammation. Inflammation is the response of our vascular tissue toward any injury. It may be external injury, it may be internal injury. Remember one thing, whatever the cause of injury to the vascular tissue, and the response of vascular tissue should be called inflammation. The main sign and symptom of inflammation is redness. If there is an inflammation, there should be redness, hotness. We will talk later why there should be redness and hotness, and there should be pain and swelling. And number 5, which is discovered nowadays, is loss of function. Loss of function, or sometimes called function loss. This is the cardinal sign of inflammation, that whenever there is redness, hotness, pain, swelling and loss of function of any tissue, any vascular tissue, there should be inflammation. And inflammation may be defined as, inflammation is the chemical response of any vascular tissue toward any injury. We will talk about how inflammation lead to redness, hotness, pain, swelling and function, loss of function. So for example, if due to any reason we injured any vascular tissue of the body, due to any reason, if we injured due to trauma, if we injured the vascular tissue present throughout the body, and then what will be the response of vascular tissue, we will talk in detail. Let's start. For example, this is a vascular system. This is endothelial lining, and there should be trillion lining of the cells for example this parts of the tissue is injured due to any reason. The causes of injury, it may be radiation, it may be physical force, whatever the cause. Let's suppose this is the injured part of the vascular system. There should be, this is arterial blood supply to this injured part, and this is the arterial this is the artery which supply blood to this injured tissue. Remember one thing, inflammation is the immune system, it is a protective response of the immune system toward the external force, external causes of injury, because the purpose of inflammation is to bring more blood to these injured area, to bring more white blood cell to this area, and to bring more leukocytes, more neutrophils, more eosinophils and other immune cells to this injured area. For what purpose? To remove the causes of injury. Let's suppose this is a main artery which and this is the sub branches of artery which supply blood to this injured tissue. For example, this is an injured tissue. This area is injured due to any cause. The artery which supply blood to this area eventually convert into venules. This is venule part. Let me draw it from, this is venule part, and eventually from here it is converted into veins, venules, then veins, and eventually to large vein. This is vein. Whenever we injure the vascular tissue cells, there are two types of cell present in any types of tissue, that is, one is stromal cells, stromal cell, and the second one is parenchymal cell. What is the difference between stromal cell and parenchymal cell? Stromal cell is the supporting cells of the any tissue. For example, in the liver, hepatocyte is parenchymal cell, because parenchymal cell are those cells which is the functional cells of specific tissue. In a brain, neuron is the example of parenchymal cell of the nervous system or the brain, and neuroglia, other supporting cell, that is astrocyte, oligodendrocyte, that is supporting cell. In liver, parenchymal cell, functional cell is hepatocyte, and other white blood cell, mast cell, supporting cell is called stromal cell. To these two types of cell present in every tissue of the body, that stromal cell is supporting cell and parenchymal cell is the functional cell which performs specific function of their tissue. So whenever you injured, for example, this is a parenchymal cell, and nearby there should be mast cell, there should be macrophages, and this is what? This is parenchymal cell. Whenever the injured either mast cell or parenchymal cell, these specialized cells secrete some specialized types of chemical which help to remove or reduce the intensity of the injury. For example, this parenchymal cell is damaged due to any reason. The cell membrane of the parenchymal cell secrete nitric oxide, prostaglandin E2 and tumor necrotic factor, platelets activating factor, and collectively this chemical which is secreted by the injured cell is called cytokines. If these chemical when secreted by the lymphocyte, that is B lymphocyte, either T lymphocyte or monocyte, so we call them this is lymphokines, these chemical. But when it's secreted by the cell, stromal cell or other supporting cell, this is called cytokine. If due to any reason we injured the parenchymal cell or stromal cell of any tissue, it secretes these types of chemical. What this chemical doing? We all know this is artery and there should be surrounded by smooth muscles. There should be surrounding smooth muscle. The first function of these cytokine which is secreted by the cell membrane of the injured cell is to relax smooth muscle. Smooth muscles. When smooth muscle is relaxed in this area, the local resistance toward the flow of blood is reduced. So more blood which is passing through the artery in the main artery easily come to the capillaries to the injured side. So the purpose of inflammation to bring more white blood cell, more nutrition, more leukocyte, more lymphocyte toward the injured side. The second purpose of inflammation is what? These are endothelial cells. This endothelial cell, it increase or it shrink these endothelial cell and increase the gap junction between the endothelial lining. These cytokine when secreted, it act on endothelial cells and in the endothelial cell membrane there is a specialized receptor for nitric oxide, prostaglandin E2, that is sometimes called 7-phos receptor, intermembranous protein, which react with these chemical and shrink the endothelial cell and increase the gap between the cell. So more blood coming to this injured site. This is the injury site. These are injured tissue, injured cell. The first response is it secretes cytokine, a chemical secretion which relaxes the smooth muscle. The second action of these cytokine is to increase the space between the endothelial lining. There is a space between endothelial lining. Space is now increased because endothelial cell is shrunken. This shrinking lead to what? Intercellular gap is increased. So first thing about hotness, why hotness occurring in inflammation? Because more blood coming toward the injured side, due to this reason hotness is occur. Why pain occur during inflammation? Because there is a neuron present in the injured side, and whenever due to any cause we injured neuronal cell, so it may lead to pain. And the third Why swelling occur during inflammation? Because these cytokines which is secreted by the injured cell, it strengthens the endothelial cells, and the gap, it increases the gap between the endothelial ceiling. So we know in blood plasma protein present, that is albumin, fibrinogen and some other material easily escape from these gaps. So this is endothelial lining gap, so more protein and more fluid coming to the interstitial space, resulting in swelling. Now remember one thing, there is two types of fluid which escape from the vascular compartment to the interstitial or extra tissue compartment. There may be two types. One is exudate. When from a vascular compartment or from capillaries, the escape fluid contain protein, blood, nutrition and other material. This is called exudate. And the second term we sometimes use in inflammation is transudate. When there is no escape, or when protein poor fluid pass from the vascular compartment to the extra tissue or interstitial compartment, this is called transudate. And when protein rich fluid escape from the vascular compartment to the interstitial space, this is called exudate. Why the fluid escape from the vascular compartment to the interstitial fluid? First we will talk what is the normal fluid movement in the vascular compartment, and whenever we injure these vascular tissue or cell, what is the abnormal movement of fluid or blood in this vascular compartment. So we know Stirling forces, there is hydrostatic pressure, and the main purpose of hydrostatic pressure to push fluid from the extra toward the interstitial space. This is the responsibility of hydrostatic pressure. And there is osmotic pressure or colloid osmotic pressure which is maintained by the albumin, which try to retain the fluid in the vascular compartment. In next session we will talk about what is the normal movement of fluid within the vascular compartment, and when there is injury or injured to the vascular system, what will be the movement of fluid changes or pathological changes in the movement of fluid. We will talk in next session. Thank you so much.